O eto, bakit hindi trophy bibigay mo sa kanya? Dahil syempre hero siya eh. Tumutulong siya sa atin.
Ano pong hero? Nababaril lang yan.
Hindi!
I kind of like wanted to make this video earlier, but my god. I couldn't sleep much, and also I had to research further when it comes to making this video, especially the second part. We're gonna talk about first about the racism in America, the protests, and the terror bill that's just gonna destroy our whole democratic system in my country. So yeah, let's start. George Floyd, rest in peace. Disclaimer, since 80% of my subscribers are from America, I'm just gonna say this, I am not from America. What's happening right now is really shocking for me. It started off with a cop kneeling on George Floyd's neck, and then after that, I didn't know that it would escalate that quickly. So yeah, I was surprised that a lot of people are burning those houses, burning those precincts, and then burning police cars. A lot of them actually. And then in my mind, at first I thought, what the fuck are you doing? If you're gonna protest, then sure, protest. But I did not know, as someone who likes studying history, I did not know the context of the whole protest. I was watching a MrseCode video which captured the event of what happened. And with the chaos that was happening outside, well, to be honest, I wanted to go to the protests because of it. Not because I like violence, but I wanted to cover it and to experience the outside. Maybe that's the same thing. To be on a more serious note, I wanted to be a journalist so quickly at that time. I then saw CNN reporter Omar Jimenez getting arrested for no reason whatsoever, even though they were clearly shooting as a report by CNN, and it was captured live. At first I thought, what are they doing? Maybe it's just a misunderstanding, maybe some cops misunderstood some people, stuff like that. But the more I think about it, and the more I researched about it, the more it seemed to be that racism in America is just so high. And this was surprising to me because I thought it was just like 100 years ago back then. And it just dawns me as I think of this, because I always thought of America as something like, hey, you're from another country. Yeah, we had the past of like being racist to people, but now we aren't. I always thought about that, but no, it's very daunting. Especially the generalization of cops. I see a bunch of Twitter posts that says all cops are bad. What does ACAP mean? I don't know, but the generalization is all cops are bad people. And to a sense, I think they're correct, but it's just not the right way of saying it. I talked to my friends about this before, about men are trash, that type of thing. But that's not gonna help, because there are cops out there who are actually supporting the protests. All they want is a peaceful protest and not some kind of anarchy stuff, because it's their job. But it really dawns me that even though we've come so far as the 21st century, there are still a lot of Americans who are so racist. I mean, I still don't get why people are racist. Why do you think you should judge a person by its color? It's not even judging a book by its cover. It's about judging the color of the cover of the book, which is pretty fucking stupid. But I watched some people who are just overly retarded to the fact that they are protesting for the name of George Floyd. Not to be confused that I'm condemning the protests. I condone the protests actually. I believe that burning the cop cars are necessary in order to send a message. But what I do not condone, and I do condemn, is the looting in the middle of the protests. You see people like Jake Paul, a lot of Antifa groups, and even white supremacists looting the stores, looting Gucci, going to Target, and just destroying everything. That's cool, I guess, except for the fact that you're not doing that in the name of George Floyd, and you're actually just ruining the movement itself. My final stance here is that police brutality is real and police racism in America is real. But not all cops are bad. So stop generalizing cops. I can probably agree that most cops are bad, but still, generalization by itself is bad. Generalizing them is just gonna worsen the problem, and it's not gonna help. The solution for this is simple. As an editorial writer, you're mandated to give a solution when you have an opinion. So this is my solution to my opinion. In order for this to stop, cops should have proper training and proper education before being a cop. We need to up our standards when it comes to the police. That's just what I'm gonna say.
Now, if you ever find yourself the barely legitimate military leader of a corrupt Central American country and you start getting into hot water, here's a bit of advice that has been tried and tested throughout the centuries. Blame something else. So he blamed the Salvadoran immigrants for stealing all the land and all the jobs and ruining Honduras. The immigrants found themselves under attack by the hostile locals, egged on by the rich American banana companies who wanted all the bananas to themselves.
Terrorist gang, terrorist gang, terrorist gang, terrorist gang. Welcome everybody to my new channel, which is now a terrorist channel. MrseCode, you may ask. Why are we terrorists now? Well, 2020 has been a rough year for us, you know? We're really in a tight situation right now. But, our government is now saving us and is now finding a solution. And that solution is one of the greatest solutions out there because in response to COVID-19, in response to the pandemic that has been haunting us for all this time, our government decided that now is the time for us to have mass tests.
House of Representatives Committee on Public Order and Safety approved the substitute version of the Human Security Act.
Let's take a look at this in a different perspective. Maybe there's a different reason for this. I mean, the government really isn't that stupid to make a bill that is so irrelevant to the situation. Right? Let's try to break this down because as Tito Soto said, read the bill first. So I did read the bill first and I found some pretty interesting stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What the fuck are you talking about? What is considered a terrorist act? And you know, all's well is done, and physical harm, doing bodily injuries, committing murder, and doing arson, stuff like that. But when it comes to one of the latter definitions of terrorism, you have intimidation. Is the government turning into a full-on SJW style bullshit now? Like snowflakes? What kind of bullshit is intimidation? Everything in politics is intimidating. Even normal life is intimidating. So how can you like say someone's a terrorist by intimidating? And you even consider that as an unlawful act. Damn. Prisons are gonna be full right now. Looks like I'm about to break the law. I don't know about you, but why would you put intimidation in there? So for example, if I say to the president of the Philippines he's full of shit, then I'm considered a terrorist now? Another one. What is a terrorist organization? Well, a group of persons who uses the acts of terrorism mentioned in this act. Wow. Imagine... Wait, so on paper, if intimidation is a terrorist act and groups that intimidate are now terrorists, then protesting is a kind of terrorism now. The idea of terrorism in this bill is so bullshit that you're just gonna think, sorry Ben Shapiro, you're not welcome in the Philippines. If you're a citizen in the Philippines and you're just doing shit talking like you do in the US, then you're basically a terrorist now. Allahu Akbar. Hail Rodi. Basically, guys, I'm a terrorist now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a terrorist for saying Duterte is full of shit. That's cool. Another one is the detention without warrant or arrest. You can be detained without even the cops needing to have a judicial warrant of arrest. So if you're suspected to be a terrorist, then bro, you're gonna be detained, bro. You're gonna die. Requests to prescribe from foreign jurisdictions. This is very interesting. If you take a look at it closely, you will notice that the Philippines in this bill will not listen to any other international organizations. That includes the UN, the EU, the ASEAN. So what kind of country are we living in right now? I mean, if you take a look at it, our country, which is far away from what a democracy should look like, it's kind of something like a very prominent country that doesn't have any kind of terrorists, any kind of intimidators, which is pretty something. It's something out there, you know, it's something out there. Okay, let's be serious now. This kind of bill just tarnishes our democracy so much that we don't have the right to speak, we don't have the right to have our own ideas, we don't have the right to dissent, we don't have the right to be activists right now. Our human rights are just constantly being abused in this administration. You can be considered a terrorist just because you're critical of the government. What's amazing for this is that tons and tons of people that support Duterte is still supporting this bill, even though it's completely against our democracy. How do we fix this? Well, there's only one way. We don't approve of this. We junk this terror bill. And then after that, we can revise it. Like the Congress can revise it in a way where it's so specific. Compare this bill to other laws in other countries like the US. A lot of laws in the US are so specific and there's no loopholes. Some people may say that you can't avoid loopholes, but that is the point of creating a law, is to not create a loophole in our justice system. And if you're just gonna create a law that has so many loopholes, then you shouldn't make a law in the first place. This is a big threat not only to our country but also to our democracy. We enjoy and we take for granted our right to vote, our right to speak, our right for freedom of information, but this time it's slowly fading away. And with this bill, that is one step closer for us to become a fascist nation. Here's a bill that I want. Instead of the anti-terror bill, what I want is a new kind of bill that modernizes the Philippine army. At least that is useful instead of like, Hail Rodi. Mr. Duterte, eat shit. This is not gonna solve the problem. Like, if you want this country to be okay, and if you want more money so you can corrupt more money and commit more graft, I'm actually helping you right now. Don't focus on the anti-terror bill. You need to focus on solving COVID-19. You know why? Because an economic recession is coming. Because of course you have control. But what about the economy? And having a bad economy means you're not gonna have money. And not gonna have money, and you're gonna die. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you focus on the economy, if you focus on that, a lot of money will just pour on the Philippines, and you can commit more graft, and you can do more corrupt things. It's as simple as that. Why can't politicians think about this? All jokes aside, the anti-terror bill is terrible. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh, that's so bad.